Did y'all think we were leaving? We never said we're leaving, so we're not leaving. And welcome back to the Indicator Profile series, traders. We are going to make it worth your wait. We've been on a bit of a hiatus for a while. I'll explain why in just a moment. But we have something called the BH Erdős indicator. We've done Erdős, I have a hard time saying that, before with the Erdős TVI. This is a very different indicator with very different results. I think you're going to like them. But our boy Dan was building a house. Like actually building a house. And I've never done that, so I don't know how long that takes. But I'm sure it takes up a lot of time. And he was just unable to help us out with the Indicator Profile series. But he has finished the house. He is back, and we are back on schedule. So expect these every 2 weeks once again, which is very nice. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're new, we have a lot of new people come in the last month or so. Understand. First of all, welcome. This is the #1 indicator channel in all of YouTube. It will always be that way, but you're not going to understand what we're talking about until you watch all the videos. So go to nononsenseforex.com, read that page, watch that first video, and get yourself started. It's worth it. You will have a superior trading system for the rest of your life. Put in the time. For the rest of you, let's go ahead and look at the specs for the BH Erdős indicator. The year is going to be 2007. The type is going to be a confirmation indicator. It's going to be a 2 lines cross. And as far as exits go, it kind of does set up for it, but I just haven't looked at it myself through that lens, so I cannot tell you for sure. But it does fit the profile. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's going to be one of those 2 lines crosses that kind of stick together for the most part, which means I do like it for exits normally. Again, I just haven't tested it, but I think you probably should. So what happens normally with the confirmation indicator, if you don't know, is once this green crosses the red, that is your signal to go long. And then when it does the opposite, like right here, that is your signal to go short. Now, at first glance, you can see a lot of bad signals on this indicator, but that is why we tweak the settings. And you are about to see the results of those tweaked settings. Before we get there, though, understand, it doesn't matter what I show you in terms of results. It all matters right here, how it performs in your system. So the very first thing you need to do after you watch this video and after you read the blog and after you watch Dan's video is to immediately test this in your own system to see how it works. And you may need to tweak it further. But we have done the majority of the work for you here. If you don't know how to do any of that, we got you hooked up down below in the description. You're going to see a link to my automation blog that has an embedded video showing you how to test this yourself on the MT4 strategy tester. Yes, all of these indicators are MT4. Might they be MT5? Might they be TradingView? I don't know. You're going to have to go look and see if they exist there. Sometimes in the comments section, people will find them and post them there, so check the comments section as well if you're unable to find it. And then we, of course, will give you a link to the blog. You're going to have to see the blog to see what the tweak settings are. I don't provide them for you here. And as mentioned before, you'll also see a video from Dan Stone where he will show this indicator moving on a 1-minute chart to show you that it doesn't repaint. And then also often adds other information about this indicator that I often don't. So make sure you check that out. We do take user submissions. We have done a handful of them in the past. They have been very good when we use them. But if you have one to submit, there is a particular email address you will do that to, and that email address is provided down below. And then, as always, you got to know where to download this thing, right? You want to go to the #1 location in all of the interwebs. It is the Indicator Library, where you can download the BH Erdős indicator and every indicator we have ever profiled here. On the Indicator Profile series, let's go ahead and take a look at the BH Erdős on the Euro USD. Awfully good. We really like seeing over 10%. That is next level, especially with a win-loss ratio like this. Now, the only trade-off to get to these levels is we had to go with less signals. You can see the difference between the original version and the tweaked version, but it was at the cost of less signals. So you have 11 signals on average per year. Once you add other pieces to your algorithm, that number is going to go down even further. So you have to ask yourself, are you comfortable with that few signals on this currency pair per year? Or would you be more comfortable if this was your secondary confirmation indicator? Because you naturally want that one to be slower anyway. These are decisions only you can make for yourself, but this is an awfully good start. Let's move over to gold. This is more average, I would say, across the board. Kind of an average win-loss ratio. We've been getting some really great win-loss ratios on the Indicator Profile series this year. ROI is pretty average, especially with the run-up gold has had. Maybe this isn't going to be your best option. I would say test it anyway, though. Over to the S&P, you're getting pretty close to the average of the S&P with one indicator, but with very few signals. A super high win-loss ratio, though. So maybe there's some opportunities here. Again, don't be afraid to tweak the settings yourself. We show you how. But I do see opportunities here. Finishing off with Bitcoin, this is pretty good from what we've been giving you, especially because Bitcoin did have a run-up, but then it's been stagnating and ranging a lot lately, and we're still cranking out pretty close to 20% on this with a higher amount of signals. So I think there's some real opportunities with this indicator, with the Euro USD, and likely all of Forex, the S&P 500, and Bitcoin. But I would like to welcome everybody back to the fold. Subscribe, hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of this. Hopefully we're back on a 2-week schedule. It's tough. I work with 2 very busy people, and we have to respect their schedules overall. But we are still loaded with material on this channel. We have the Trading Psychology podcast. We have the 10-Minute Contrarian Investing podcast every week. And the Indicator Profile series is now back. Don't miss anything, traders. Put in the work and go get it.